Attention.
Hip-hop, sex. Hip-hop, sex.
This is the real bass.
Hip-hop, sex. Hip-hop, sex. Hip-hop, 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 sex. Hip-hop, sex. Hip-hop, sex. Hip-hop, 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 sex. Hip-hop, sex. Hip-hop, sex. Hip-hop, 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 sex. Sports. WRGW. Hip-hop.
What?
News.
This is the news.
Sports.
Colonials win!
Rock. Talk.
You shut up. I disagree.
Sex.
Hey.
Lies.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Radio.
I think we got a show.
Oh, yeah, we got a show.
We definitely got a show.
Oh, yeah, there's a show.
All right, what's my motivation?
Whenever I feel that someone tells me I can't do something, I go out and accomplish it.
Pass is stolen by Pinnock. Pinnock flushes it down with two hands. Inside Metabantu double team comes. Nola pass to Pinnock, who puts in the alley-oop.
Stuff like that motivates me.
We used to go out there and have fun. We both still love it.
I shoot for the moon.
I told him just be ready. This time's gonna come.
Elliott driving all the way home. This is to Metabantu. He slams it home with authority.
This is Danilo Pinnock, former George Washington Colonial.
This is Cosmo Zabasa from the Dallas Mavericks.
You're listening to WRGW.
I don't know where to start. Look, man, I'm about to bust you if you don't give me some information.
You're listening to WRGW.
Know what I'm talking about.
GWRadio.com.
You right, because I don't even understand what you just said to me right then. Oh, guess who this is?
Campus Cable Channel 22.
Pitiful, man. When you gonna have some fun? Speak English, what do you say? You're not moving. I'm sick of you. Got me running around Hong Kong butt naked. All we gotta do now is wait.
Washington, D.C.
Okay. What's wrong with you? You don't jump in front of a black man in a buffet line. Calm down.
The future of college radio today.
Living large in one of these penthouse suites. Told you to work out. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
We're coming. The new generation of radio.
He could bring down the whole East Coast.
Online and in your ears.
And what? He's good at it.
24 hours a day.
Sort of like 7-Eleven. We're not always doing business, but we're always open.
You people have been chosen to reveal our existence to the world. You will witness what happens here today, and you will tell of it later.
Listen, kid, I hope you understand what you're dealing with here.
For WRGW.
This guy is no slouch.
Coming to you straight from Washington, D.C.
When I was a boy, your papa used to speak of him like he was a ghost.
Now you will receive us.
And online 24/7 at gwradio.com.
This is like Lone Ranger heavy, man.
Are you sure? That you'll all be kidding me?
You guys should be in every major city.
In the beginning, there was radio. And then came the advent of the internet. Until one day, innovative college students came up with WRGW, GWRadio.com. And it was good. Damn good. So good that they called it Fox.
My name is Robert Neville. I'm a survivor living in New York City. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food. I can provide shelter. I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, you are not alone.
This is ground zero. I can still fix this.
If there's anybody out there,
Good evening, folks. I'm your host, Henry Scriven-Young, and welcome back to Uptime, pure gaming tunes and news, no cheat codes required, here on WRGW District Radio. I'd like to thank everyone who tuned in to the show last Friday, and a special thank you to everyone who has tuned in for tonight's show. For those of you who don't know, Uptime is a music show where I play the soundtracks from video games. I'll also be throwing in some news and other fun bits, so sit back and relax as we jump in to tonight's show. Welcome to Silent Hill. Population, you. This rustic town is the perfect getaway for you and your family. Covered in a dense fog, this town provides plenty of time for reading, relaxing, and fighting dangerous monsters as you struggle against all odds to survive. Visit Silent Hill Ranch. Swim into Luca Lake. See Silent Hill's historic citizens at the Silent Hill Graveyard. Or take some time to reflect on the observation deck. Silent Hill is your next vacation destination. So drive on down today. For those of you who haven't guessed already, tonight we will be doing the Silent Hill game, but specifically we're doing the remake of Silent Hill 2. For those unfamiliar with tonight's game, here is a quick rundown. Silent Hill 2 is a 2024 psychological horror game developed by Bloober Team and published by Konami Digital Entertainment. It's a remake of the 2001 video game Silent Hill 2, originally developed by Team Silent, a group with Konami Computer and Entertainment Tokyo. Dark Moon also offers a cooperative. The objective of Silent Hill 2 is to guide the player character James Sunderland through the monster-filled town of Silent Hill as he searches for his deceased wife. The game features a third-person view with various camera angles. The default control for Silent Hill 2 has James moving in the direction that he's facing when the player tilts the analog stick upward, although players can choose a more traditional control scheme. Throughout the game, James collects numerous maps, which can only be read if there's sufficient light or when his flashlight is on. While maps are not essential to proceed throughout the game, they give a significant advantage to exploring the world. See, much of the game play consists of navigating the town and finding keys or other items to bypass doors or other obstructions, with less focus on killing enemies. Silent Hill 2 can be played on PlayStation 2, Xbox, PlayStation 3, Microsoft Windows, and Xbox 360. With all of that out of the way, let's get back to the music. welcome back. So those two songs were Promise and Promise of the Forgotten. Starting off with Promise, starting off with the soundtrack in general. The soundtrack is what feels to me like a good mix between country and lo-fi rock, but no matter how you classify it, it's really good. Something that I like about this soundtrack, and maybe it's the games I play, maybe it's the games I listen to, maybe it's just what I cover, but it really has a kind of refreshing, nuanced feel. The music here really draws you in, and it seems more fitting, honestly, for some kind of like concert than a video game, especially, the more beginning songs that we've heard up until Promise of the Forgotten. Like, Promise is probably one of the last songs where I'd be like, yeah, this sounds, this would make more sense in, a concert of some kind. But regardless, that is how it feels, at least at the beginning, right? One of the things I like about Promise specifically is the use of like the guitar. That's really nice. The main theme, at least from we heard at the beginning, is really good, and it feels like you're right there. Like, especially at the end when it was kind of mostly just the guitar. That was really cool. I mean, it felt like the guitar was in the room with me, which is really neat. Moving on to Promise of the Forgotten, I have written in my notes here, finally something thrilling in the psychological thriller, right? Because I was listening to this soundtrack and I was like, when are we going to get to the scary stuff? Like, I understand, we're at the beginning, right? We're doing all the setup. It's dramatic. What is he going to find, right? Fine. But I want something thrilling in my psychological thriller. Especially that lone piano we heard was really good. Also, in case you're curious, a lone piano, as we've kind of heard throughout this month as I've kind of played different games, lone piano is a good indicator that you're in a horror movie. So if you're ever in a room alone, or you're ever anywhere and a piano just starts playing by itself, odds are you are in a horror game. So good luck to you. I like the use of diverse instruments here, not just from what we heard kind of in the beginning of the soundtrack with the drums and the guitar, but here we get kind of a nice full range of interesting stuff that we didn't cover before, right? We have piano, but we also have strings and xylophone, which is kind of neat. Also, the swell in the music in the middle with the strings was good. Cool use of dynamics, and I think that's something that the soundtrack uses really well. It kind of uses more complex things within music to make the soundtrack better, right? It uses dynamics, it uses a mix between staccato and all that kind of good stuff. So that is really nice, and especially towards the end when the piano kind of stops, we get that kind of wind groaning effect, which is really nice. So yeah, it's a good soundtrack, right? Staccato, legato, use of dynamics, use of tempo is kind of what you're going to hear throughout the soundtrack. It's a really great one, and those are just two selections. Before we move on to our next section of music, I'd like to talk about our sponsor for today's episode of Exclamation Point Uptime. This episode of Exclamation Point Uptime is sponsored by Poker Club. Poker Club is the premier spot for Texas Hold'em on GW's campus. Poker Club plays every Friday starting at 5:30 p.m. Quote, "We have the best live poker games and members. We're excited for you to join us," end quote. The rule structure is Texas No Limit Hold'em. Everyone will receive a fictional cash bankroll upon registration of $13,500, and that money stays with you throughout the semester. Any profits and losses incurred during weekly play will accumulate, and players are ranked based on their bankroll value for end-of-semester tournament qualification. The tournament rounds will take place during the last 2 Fridays of the semester before finals. If you have questions or would like to be involved, you can join via Engage or contact the official email at gwupokerclub@gmail.com. Again, that's gwupokerclub@gmail.com. Would you like to sponsor Exclamation Point Uptime? Well, each week I'll shout out, as I just did, a GW student organization. You can sponsor Exclamation Point Uptime by submitting the sponsorship form found on the Exclamation Point Uptime website at sites.google.com/view/uptime-WRGW. Or you can head to my Instagram account where I have that website linked throughout my profile. And a reminder that this is not financially compensated, and it's more of a shout-out type of thing to promote student organizations here at GW. Additionally, the website has been updated since our last show, so I encourage all of you to take a look and explore the website while we take a quick break.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is
WRGW.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is
WRGW.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is
WRGW.
Patrick, that's the name of the restaurant.
You're listening to WRGW.
It's a trap! What do you mean they blew up the Death Star? Who's they?
GWRadio.com.
Oh! I gotta get that transfer to Coruscant.
Cable Channel 22.
How am I supposed to fight? Ooh!
The future of college radio today.
Hey, the force is strong with this one, eh?
Remember that songs can change the destiny of nations. Even if it's only by
This is Arlo Guthrie. You're listening to WRG. What is it again?
You have to know the words.
WRGW.
Have the feeling.
That's easy. And you would think I could remember it.
Wait for it to come around again.
WRGW?
You got it.
This is Arlo Guthrie. You're listening to WRGW.
Except in Alice, you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant.
And welcome back to Exclamation Point Uptime here on WRGW District Radio. I'm your host, Henry Scriven-Young, and that was White Noise, Beneath the Null Moon, and Lament of Heaven's Night. So starting off with White Noise, the immersion here at the beginning is great. Again, it really just kind of pulls you in. It's not scary, but it's kind of like reassuring. It's like, oh, no, it's fine. We've got nice music. Come on in. It's good. It's nice over here. Come on. Even after the noise kind of fades out and we get a return to the themes that we kind of heard at the beginning of the soundtrack, it sounds really good. I really like how they changed the initial theme a little bit, but in a way that is less firm than before, right? This is a little more scary. It's got fewer instruments, so that's nice. And the instrumentation at the end is great. The overlay of those two instruments, and I'm not even sure what exactly they are, but they don't sound like they should work together in tandem, but they do, and it's done really, really well. Next is Beneath the Null Moon. This is much more funky. Now we're getting into the psychological thriller aspect of it, right? Especially from the beginning, you have the faster tempo, which is really nice. You've got a nice overlay of vocals, which, in my opinion, we don't get enough of in video game soundtracks anymore. But one of my critiques of this song specifically, but maybe the first half of the soundtrack in general, is that there are times when it can feel a little too new. Like, I understand the vibe they're going for, and I appreciate the use of instruments and whatever, but it almost sounds like it should be a CD from a band and not the soundtrack from a video game. I mean, look, I want to be thrilled. This is a psychological thriller, not a psychological concert experience, right? I want to be thrilled, which is why I'm really happy with the next song, which is Lament of Heaven's Night. This is so much better. I mean, this one is good in all the ways that the other ones, especially Beneath the Null Moon, is not, right? This one is so much better. It has a unique and musically interesting melody while still feeling like it belongs in a video game. It has that nice, healthy mix between the two. You have the minor key, the drums, mix of instruments. It makes the song good. It's not scary, right? Not by any means, but it is thrilling. It makes you a little uncomfortable. Maybe it makes you shift in your chair, and that's what Silent Hill 2 is trying to do, right? It wants to make you uncomfortable, so the scary moments really scare you. It's called immersion, and it does it very well. A quick note here. Look, nobody, and I mean nobody, thought that this was a good idea. Review after review after review said that a remake of Silent Hill 2 was going to be a disaster. Most predicted that it would be a little more than a shameless cash grab meant to line the pockets of Bloober Team no matter what the cost. But boy, were they all wrong. Reviewer Aaron Boehm shared the same skepticism before playing the game. After playing the game, he wrote, quote, Bloober Team knocked it out of the park by recreating and adding to the narrative. Bloober Team's Silent Hill 2 has restored my faith in the franchise's possibilities. It's a loving remake that mixes modern gameplay concepts with the elements that made the original a masterpiece in the first place, end quote. Time and time again, nostalgia and gameplay improvements have mixed together to bring these older games to life once again, and Silent Hill 2 is no different. With the cost of the game varying from $70 to $80, the game's high price tag comes with a high amount of quality. But if you don't want to play the game, I'd encourage you all to, at the very least, listen to the game's soundtrack in its entirety, because it is, at a baseline, beautiful. With that being said, let's move on to some more music. And welcome back. That was Overdose Delusion and True. So starting with Overdose Delusion, this is a good song. It's really nothing to write home about, except maybe the middle part where the guitar gets quieter and the drums kind of take over the bulk of the noise. It's fine. It's nothing special. It's nice. Moving on to True. Okay, I love the beginning. Very chilling, very good. You've got the xylophone, and then you have that introduction of the piano, the swell of dynamics. There's a nice tempo change a couple of times. All nice. Very nice. This is probably one of my favorites, just because this song does such a good job with immersion, right? The elements of the music, they are done very tastefully. The song is really beautiful. And because of that, you have this combination of stuff that becomes something that is very gorgeous, but also very chilling, which I think is what makes Silent Hill 2 so great. The soundtrack, at the very least. Moving into news, it's that time again, when there's a little news and a lot of new upcoming game releases. So let's jump right in. Our first story comes from the Wall Street Journal. Netflix is calling it quits. The streaming giant earlier this month pulled the plug on developing its own high-end game. Quote, less than a year into development, the project was a multiplayer shooter game, according to a person familiar with the matter, end quote. But why, many are asking? What's with the sudden change? Quote, the pivot comes after Netflix in June replaced its head of gaming, Mike Verdu, with Elaine Tascan, who was previously executive vice president of development at Epic Games, end quote. Personally, I hope Netflix takes this time to develop a simple game with a good story. Oxenfree, one such example of an incredibly detailed story with very simple game mechanics on top. Netflix can write good stories. That's basically their entire job. So I hope they can use those storytelling skills in a new story-based game. Our second story comes from GameSpot, which lists the biggest game releases of October of 2024. Master Detective Archives Rain Code Plus, Throne of Liberty, Kill Knight, MechWarrior 5 Clans, Refined Self, the personality test game, Victory Heat Rally, Scottfold Into the Fray, SpongeBob SquarePants, The Patrick Star Game, Sword Art Online, Fractured Daydream, Until Dawn, Disney Pixel RPG, Kill the Crows, Kind Words 2, Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred, Silent Hill 2, Amber Isle, Bloodlist, Last Time I Saw You, Sky Ocean, Wings for Hire, UFO Robot Grenzier, The Feast of the Wolves, Backyard Baseball, Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero, Europa, Metaphor ReFantazio, Starship Troopers Extermination, and many, many more. This is a list of just some of the games that are out now that you can play today, but needless to say, there are a lot more. There's a lot of great games out now and a lot scheduled to be released soon. So if you're looking to pick up a new game, or you want to watch something new or experience something new, or possibly a remake such as Silent Hill, check out a list that gives you all the games in October, because this month we've seen a lot of incredible games and there's more to be released. And that's it for the news this week. As we come to the last 10 minutes of the show, I want to talk about recordings. If you'd like to listen to Uptime's most recent episode, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, you can find the recording on my YouTube channel and the Uptime website. Speaking of the website, be sure to fill out the special guest form, sponsorship form, and the show idea submission form. A reminder that this episode of Uptime is sponsored by Poker Club. Poker Club is the premier spot for Texas Hold'em on GW's campus. Poker Club plays every Friday starting at 5:30 p.m. The rule structure is Texas No Limit Hold'em. Any profits and losses incurred during weekly play will accumulate, and players are ranked based on their bankroll value for end-of-semester tournament qualification. The tournament rounds will take place during the last 2 Fridays of the semester before finals. If you have questions or would like to be involved, you can join via Engage or contact the official email at gwupokerclub@gmail.com. Again, that's gwupokerclub@gmail.com. Would you like to submit your student org for a sponsorship? Well, be sure to check out the Exclamation Point Uptime website. The form to submit is at sites.google.com/view/uptime-WRGW. I'd like to thank you all for listening in to tonight's episode of Exclamation Point Uptime on WRGW District Radio. I'm your host, Henry Scriven-Young, and I'll see everyone next week for Pure Gaming Tunes and News. No cheat codes required.
You're listening to WRGW.
Oh, great. Now you tell me.
Where there's always lots of fun.
Are you kidding?
And great music.
Lies and slander.
Tune in at gwradio.com.
Would you kindly shut your noise hole?
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
The dead rising from the grave.
Real wrath of God type stuff.
WRGW, gwradio.com, Washington.
Humans